I made this video a while back, and to date it's my most watched video. Actually, as of yesterday, I think this is my most watched video, but before that it was definitely this one. The funniest thing about it was, at the time that I posted it, there were actually no test screenings at all. It was just an internet rumor. But now there have been actual test screenings, and I'm hearing really, really bad things. But before we get into that, let's start with something that is really strange. There's this insane belief that if you don't like the James Gunn Superman, it automatically means that you're a huge fan of the Zack Snyder Superman. This is simply not the case. Believe it or not, it's totally possible to dislike both, which I do. I'm mentioning this to hopefully avoid a barrage of
Snyder simp
comments that are sure to find their way into the comments section. But let's face it, the people who generally leave these types of comments are still going to leave them. Anyway, about the test screenings. So remember when Superman stood for truth, justice, and the American way? Yeah, neither does James Gunn apparently. Because based on what I'm hearing from the Superman test screenings, James Gunn is completely ruining the character. From what I've heard, this movie is Superman, but
let's make it tragic, and also funny, but also dark, but also, what if a dog bites him? Wouldn't that be funny, you guys?
Yeah, you heard that right. Apparently dog bites are a huge part of the comedy in this movie. Look, I like Krypto. Great dog, loyal, good boy. I haven't watched many of the cartoons, but generally I like the character. But when multiple people from the test screenings come out and say Krypto kind of steals the show, not in a wow, he's so charming way, but in a wait, why is this movie about the dog kind of way, that's a problem. This is supposed to be Superman's big comeback, a fresh start, the beginning of a new DC universe. And I should mention that I'm extremely excited that this isn't yet another origin story. We don't need that anymore with any characters. But you know what else we don't need? A comedy about a dog biting Superman in the crotch. Unfortunately, from what I hear, that's exactly what we're getting. We're getting scene after scene where Krypto injures Superman repeatedly, and the audience is expected to laugh. Like,
look at the Man of Steel getting mauled by his own dog. It's so funny. Don't you think it's funny, you guys?
Yeah, I don't. I'm also hearing that James Gunn's idea of a fresh take is just the same thing he always does, but now it's got a cape on it. We've already seen his whole let's take something noble and make it edgy but funny thing. I guess it worked with the Suicide Squad, and yeah, it was pretty great with the Guardians, but I addressed this in my other video. So Guardians of the Galaxy, it was sort of a minor comic book, and with Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm not saying they didn't have any fans of the comics, I'm saying that these were lesser known characters. So there were no expectations really, and James Gunn was free to do whatever he wanted to do with those characters and probably not get a lot of pushback. There was no reason to try to subvert expectations because there were no expectations with these particular characters. He was free to do what he wanted, and it worked. With an iconic character like Superman, I don't think he's going to have the same freedom. He's supposed to be the ideal, the guy we look up to, the guy we all strive to be, not the guy we laugh at because his dog bites him in the crotch. One of the biggest complaints that I have, and I understand the same sentiment is floating around after these test screenings, is that people didn't feel anything when they watch it. No uplift, no spine tingling, no you'll believe a man can fly moment, just another superhero movie that, exists. So where's the heart? The moment where you sit back and go, man, I needed that. Because instead of inspiring people, apparently we're just watching Superman get dragged through a string of disconnected Lex Luthor side plots while trying not to get attacked by his dog. The thing is, if your Superman movie doesn't leave the average viewer feeling anything, especially hope, you messed up, period. I'm also hearing that there's a complete and total lack of any kind of cohesive plot. Now, I'm going to take that one with a grain of salt because people said that about the new Falcon movie, the new Captain America movie, but I disagreed with that. The plot in that movie was pretty straightforward. I think it's more that the TikTok generation just has a problem staying focused. But then again, I could be wrong about that. From what I've read, the plot is kind of a mess. Like Lex Luthor is there, he's scheming, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It's more like a handful of Lex Luthor mini-missions than a real villain arc. And honestly, from what I've read, he sounds more like Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. So will Lex Luthor have a shrinkinator? Or a turn everything evil-inator? Or maybe a make everything annoying-inator? I don't know, maybe. What I'm saying here is that it sounds like they stitched together a bunch of little ideas and hoped it all added up to a movie. Spoiler alert, I heard that it didn't. And can we talk about this weird obsession James Gunn seems to have with bloody, beaten, or generally gross Superman? Brightburn, evil Superman. Peacemaker, Superman apparently has gross kinks. Suicide Squad, off-screen bloody Superman moment referenced. Superman 2025, he's getting beat up by his own dog and left bloody again. Every trailer we've seen puts Superman in a negative light. He's dirty, he's bloody, he's beaten, he's frowning. I said this once before and got flamed for it, but I stand by it. Where is the inspiring hands-on-the-hip superhero pose? Where is the iconic flyby? Why is James Gunn doubling and tripling down on the bloody, beaten Superman? Like, dude, are you okay? I don't need to see him humiliated, deconstructed, mocked, or chewed up like a squeaky toy, and I certainly don't need him turned into Homelander. I need the symbol of hope. I need the guy who shows up in the sky and makes people feel like things might be okay again. You know, Superman. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will be the greatest Superman movie ever made. Maybe you do want to see him get mangled by his own mutt. Maybe you love edgy, ironic comedy. Maybe bloody beaten Superman is your thing. Maybe you want to watch a movie that has no central plot and gives off zero hope. If so, I understand this is the movie for you. The comment section is right there. Let's hear it.
You just don't get it. Wait until you see the movie. A dog biting Superman in the crotch is funny.
Whatever. I do plan to see it, but I'm going in with extremely low expectations. Not because I'm a
Snyder simp,
but because I have eyes, ears, and the ability to form opinions based on what I see and hear. And with that, I'm reasonably sure what I see and hear is going to be terrible. Really, really terrible. Anyway, that's it. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I
racist?
Let me know all the reasons you think I'm an idiot in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, click notifications, and I will see you next time.